What's up, guys? I'm ZombieCat.
And I'm Skull.
And this is the Horror Den. Today, we are going to be reading the Creepypasta, I Die Every Night for 2 minutes and 11 seconds. This is on r/nosleep. We all know what that is. You probably don't know what that is.
No idea.
No Sleep is a subreddit for essentially, say, people are posting this stuff. It's pretty much all fake, but they're posting it as if it is real. Like, this is happening to them, and they're just posting about it on this thread, and they're like, could someone please help me, essentially. So you're reading this from the perspective as if this was real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, this is by Hello, Help, Hello on r/nosleep. It's 3 years old. This is a really good story I've read before. I'm really excited to read it again. He's never experienced it. It's very anxiety inducing, so I'm excited to jump into this one. So just go into it with the mindset of like, pretend you are going through this and you're just desperate, typing on Reddit to see if anyone has these issues or can help you with the situation. That's pretty much what No Sleep is.
I mean, if I had a guess just based off the title of what we're about to get into, it's like probably sleep paralysis demon turned up to 11. I mean, that's just a guess.
We'll see. Alright, I guess I'll start.
Alright.
When I was 13, I died for 2 minutes and 11 seconds. My heartbeat stopped and my pulse was gone, and I was dead. 1 second, I was racing my bike along the sidewalk and made a turn to the left to shortcut across the road. The next, I stared up at a blank ceiling wrapped in bandages and wires and tubes, while some machine beeped next to me in a steady rhythm. I had no recollection of what happened in between. It didn't take long for this little gap in my memory to be filled. My father can't stop telling the story any chance he gets. He tells it during dinner, during long car trips, during TV commercial breaks. He tells it to friends and colleagues and strangers at the bus stop. Remember that time you got hit by that car? We were in a panic when we got the call. They said your heart stopped beating. You were dead, 2 minutes and 11 seconds. Guess that's his way of coping with a traumatic experience. 2 minutes and 11 seconds. 2 minutes and 11 seconds. 2 minutes and 11 seconds. It didn't take long for that number to start haunting me. Soon, it came for me every night.
The dream started a few months after the accident. My body was already on its way to complete recovery. I had left the hospital bed behind and returned home. My left leg was still trapped in a cast, and the scars left on my torso would never fade, but that was it. It was around this time I found myself waking up at night more and more often, sweating and shivering, a pain enveloping my chest. Soon I grew able to remember the nightmares that preceded. Through these episodes, or rather, the one single nightmare. It was the same exact dream every night, and still to this day, the same visions, the same sounds, and it always lasts the same exact time. 2 minutes and 11 seconds. I know, because as it became a regular occurrence, I started counting along. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. The rough asphalt of the road takes in half my view. My body lies in an awkward angle on the coarse gray material. Glittering fragments of glass and small smears of red fluid are splattering around me. 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds. People stand around me, some shuffle for a better view, others just stay frozen in place, their eyes wide open, their trembling hands squeezed against their lips. A blue light flashes somewhere behind me, its presence vaguely visible even against the bright sunlight. 13 seconds, 14 seconds, 15 seconds. A deep pain ripples through me, cold and heavy, as if every bit of warmth slowly bleeds from my body. It radiates from my torso up to my neck and my head and my limbs. I want to scream, but my lips refuse to move. They are slightly open. My tongue hangs out on one side. A thick fluid slowly drips from it to the ground. I want to move, but my muscles don't respond. I expect the scent of oil and blood to spread in my nose, but I smell nothing. I smell nothing, but no air enters my nostrils. No air enters my nostrils because I have stopped breathing.
28, 29, 30. Growling engines, distant sirens, voices, contorted fragments of noise that make less and less sense. Hands touch me, squeeze against my neck and wrists. I can barely make out the sensation, but it is there. Careful at first, then more and more frantic. Shouts grow louder, more hands, more touches. Shadows fall over me as people draw closer. 55, 56, 57. Someone stabilizes my neck. Someone grabs hold of my arm. Someone slightly lifts my legs. Someone carefully squeezes against my shoulder. With a gentle, fluid motion, I am slowly flipped onto my back. The sun sends out its blinding rays. Fabric tears as the shirt is removed from my torso. 125, 126, 127. A man kneels over me, his bright orange vest stained blood. He positions his hand against my chest, then presses down. My body twitches under the impact like a giant rag doll. Another pump, another, then a short pause. Then it starts again. Pump, 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 pause. 159, 2 minutes, 2-1, pump, 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 pause. Pump, 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 pause. It's hard to keep track of the time. The palms hit my chest with a steady rhythm, but that rhythm doesn't fully match the seconds ticking by. I feel like I'm burning, like there is fire licking over my insides, like thousands of insects burrow into my skin and start tearing out my flesh.
26, 27, 28, pump, 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 pause. I stare up at the blue sky, concentrate on the faint white cloud formations drifting past. Try to focus on its contours and shades. Anything to keep my mind far away from the next second. Anything to divert my attention from the moment where the pain reaches its peak. 2-9. One of my ribs break under the pressure. I want to scream, need to scream, but my body is dead and my lungs are empty. And those hands keep grinding and pumping, unrelenting, driving the broken pieces of bone deeper and deeper. 210. Something jolts in my chest. A first flutter of my heart muscle. Dots of light dance in front of my pupils. The sunlight disintegrates the remnant of the cloud overhead. Shouting voices, twisting, roaring, spinning. 211. And I awake. Back in my bed. The pain is still there, throbbing and pumping, as if those hands are still hammering down on me. For the first few moments, it feels as if my heartbeat might go out again. Cold sweat coats my skin. My muscles tremble. Then the sensation fades. Every night, 2 minutes and 11 seconds.
I've talked to
doctors.
I've talked to doctors about the reoccurring pain, had a few hospital checkups. There's nothing physically wrong with me, nothing they can find at least. I haven't told anyone about the dream though. This is the first time I put the experience to words. Even telling strangers on the internet feels shameful and embarrassing. It's one thing to show off the parts of my back where my skin is still twisted and contorted like some Viking showing off his old battle scars. It's another thing to entirely talk about waking up every night crying and sobbing. It's another thing to admit to secretly covering my mattress with newspaper sheets in case I lose control of my bladder again. But I have to talk about it. Something changed. It happened a few days ago. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. A woman, a bit older, maybe in her late 60s, thin and tall, dressed in painfully bright mismatching colors, sporting outdated flower patterns, walked along the sidewalk. She was slightly hunched over, carrying 2 black plastic bags in her hands. She was just another passerby. She was just some random old lady, and she was not supposed to be there. 3, 4, 5. I've lived through the dream thousands of times. Every little moment has always been the same. Every detail is burned into my mind. Unchanging, unwavering, always the same. This woman was not supposed to be there. She had never been there before. 10, 11, 12. She stopped and looked over.
13, 14, 15. She stood there, staring, then began to slowly walk towards the scene of the accident. Her bags swung back and forth in her hand. Some blackish fluid dripped from one of them with each step. 55, 56, 57. She stopped at the outer edge of the crowd, half hidden between the wall people. The first responders grabbed me, as they always do, and gently flipped me onto my back. I couldn't see her anymore from this new position. The dream continued as it always had. The hand squeezing down on my chest, the cloud drifted across the sky, my rib broke, and my heart fluttered to life, and I woke up. Everything just as always. Except for that woman. She shouldn't have been there. The next night she was back. This time she stood in the center of the crowd from the very start. I could see how garish she looked. Her makeup had been painted thick over her aging face. White glittering powder covered her cheeks. Her lips were smeared with gleaming red lipstick to the point they looked like wax replicas. Her eyes were encircled with dark violet rings of shade. The face beneath this grotesque mask of makeup was inhumanely still. No twitch of a muscle, no flare of a nostril. She didn't even seem to blink.
She just stood there, staring down at me. Her pupils never shifted away. When I was flipped onto my back, she drifted closer, towering in the corner of my vision. The seconds ticked down. The pain grew worse. The palms hit my chest. Pump, 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 pause. Her body tensed in rhythm to the resuscitation. Her thin, bony fingers tightened to shaking fists, then opened up again. Pump, 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 pause. 2-9, 2-10, 2-11. When I woke up, I half expected to see her still standing there, somewhere in the darkness of my room. Of course she was gone, along with the rest of the dream. I was alone, with my pain and my tears and my shame. She'd returned the night after. This time, she stood even closer, as close as she was able to get. Other members of the crowd slightly leaned away from her, as if she was emitting a disgusting smell. She didn't react, didn't seem to register anything besides me, as if all these other people weren't even there in the first place.
55, 56, 57. The woman tried to step closer the moment I was turned on my back. One of the first responders stepped into her path and pushed her back. Pump, 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 pause. 133, 134, 135. The pain welled up and grew deeper, and the woman was still there. Her lengthy body twisting to the left and to the right, her fingers twitching in rhythm to those palms squeezing down. Pump, 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 pause. 149, 150, 151. The moment of the worst pain was quickly approaching. She tried to push closer once more, was repelled a second time. 2-4, 2-6, 2-7. My eyes drifted to the clouds above. The worst pain was coming. Just 3 more seconds. 2 more seconds. Pump, 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 pause. 2.8, 2.9. Here it was. The hand would squeeze down and my ribs would break and my body would go up in flames. And 2.10, 2.11. The hand didn't return. My rib didn't break. My heart didn't start beating again. 2.12, 2.13. The open palm hovering just above my chest, about to push down. A wrinkly set of fingers gripped its wrist. The woman had managed to push into the circle of first responders and grab the man just as he was about to administer the last life-giving thrust. Nails bit into flesh. She tore him backwards. He screamed.
2:18, 2:19. Somebody else rushed to my side. Another set of hands found my chest, began to push frantically, and struggled to find the right rhythm. 2:23, 2:24. Something inside me slipped further and further away. A gray shade drifted over the world. 2:25. The woman was still there, trying to get to this new person too, but the others held her back. And 2:26, and the hands pressed against my chest faster and faster, and the shouts grew louder. And 2:27, and closer together, and somebody else arrived. A second 2:28, a set of hands joining the first, and a rib. 2:29 broke, and another, and they pumped. And 2:30 screamed, and 2:31, 2:32, 2:30. Then I woke up. My body twitched on the mattress, convulsing. I was frozen from the vicious cramps tearing their way through me. I tried to scream, but my jaw just inched open for a second, then bit down with all my might. As the next cramp hit me, my tongue got caught between my teeth. The taste of blood spread. My stomach cramped. Something was pushed up my throat.
With a desperate motion, I threw myself to the side. Somehow I had gathered enough force to fling myself off the side of the bed. My forehead slammed against the edge of my night table. My vision blurred. I crashed to the ground, unable to dampen the fall in any way. At least I wouldn't suffocate on my own vomit in this new position. I lay there for minutes until the worst of the pain slowly receded. This was the last time I slept. Fear of what had happened kept me awake through the next night. A pack of caffeine pills got me through the one after. Now I'm reaching my limit. I feel myself slipping. Feel myself drifting off. I won't be able to stay conscious for much longer. Dark, spidery dots crawl into the corner of my vision. My head feels like it's filled with cotton. My eyelids flutter, close, and it gets harder and harder to open them back up. Soon I will sleep. Soon I will dream. Soon I will die again. For 2 minutes and 11 seconds. Or maybe forever.
Woo! That's a good one. I love that story.
So,
What'd you think?
I definitely think it's anxiety inducing.
It's very intense.
And it's because the whole time we were reading it, it reminded me a lot of like Edgar Allan Poe, where it's like the knocking or the thumping of the heart and Telltale Heart. You know, it's like there's a repetition that comes with the counting of seconds, that comes with the pumping of the CPR. My question is who the fuck's this old lady?
My thoughts have always been that maybe she's the representation of death. You know how in like Final Destination,
Yeah.
it's like he was supposed to die on that day, but he came back to life after 2 minutes and 11 seconds. So my thought is that this is like an embodiment of death coming into his dreams and trying to kill him.
Yeah, but here's my question about that. Like, does it say how old he was now?
I don't believe so.
Well, I'm imagining that this was years later. I'm imagining a 20-year-old somebody.
Yeah. Well, it says it was 13 when he died, so
Yeah.
probably 20-something.
So my question is like, why now? Like, if he's having this dream every
Which
night.
also, remember, it's also supposed to be kind of part of the unknown, because you got to take this from the perspective of someone is typing this and they just posted it to Reddit. They don't know why either. This just started happening. But I kind of see it as like death, maybe. That's always been my kind of interpretation of it. But like you said, I don't necessarily know why it would pick all of a sudden to start showing up. But once again, there could be something in here that we interpreted wrong. But
I mean, I liked it.
yeah, it's a good, like, fast-paced story almost, to keep up with like the intensity of like the heartbeats and the seconds going by. It's so good. I really like the speed of it.
I guess the only thing that I wish was different, and maybe this makes sense, maybe you disagree with me. I wish that the story was, I mean, I know it's supposed to be a post and it's supposed to be like just now posted, but I wish it was a little longer. Like, I wonder how the story would be if it was like over the course of like, maybe this lady appeared and it started getting worse as like over weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe it's like every day she was just one step closer. Like, that's terrifying. That's a little scarier to me.
That it's like she could have been well, he said he had thousands. Well, I mean, obviously. So it's like this dude's, and I love seeing all the comments like replying to this post like 3 years ago. And someone, believe it or not, the top comment was, "I think the lady is death, and for some reason she feels cheated by her resuscitation before you sleep." Of course, like, everyone's going along with it. "I'm sorry you're going through this," and stuff like that. But go to an ER and just say that you have chest pain and stuff. It's fun to read like the comments of like responses. But that's kind of funny. Someone had the same thought I did right there.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I imagine. I just imagine it's supposed to be a representation of death. And I think, it's just somebody telling an online story at the end of the day. So it's like, it's not supposed to be like super deep, but it's like, it's just for a fun, quick scare. But it's like, I kind of like that idea of maybe death feels like it got cheated. So it's like, I'm coming to take your life in your sleep.
Yeah, there's literally a whole horror movie franchise about it.
What's that?
Final Destination. You're the one who referenced it.
I never cut that. I thought you were talking about something else.
No, keep it in.
I thought you were talking about,
let him be an idiot.
I thought you were talking about Creepypasta.
Oh, no.
That's why I said that.
But overall, good story. It definitely fulfilled that like anxiety inducing that you promised.
It's that fun, just like short creepypasta read. It's like classic, just gets your heart racing. It leaves you on a question mark, essentially. You're like, what happened? What happened?
I would love for there to be like an update, like, I haven't slept in 3 years. I found a way to bypass it. I've done my research. I know what this thing is, and I know how to fight it. I just need help. And then we have like a Dream Warrior sequence from fucking Freddy Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Makes me think of the Woman in Black too.
Oh yeah,
she's like a angel of death, I think, if I remember.
Yeah,
I think that's the name of the sequel.
Oh yeah, I think maybe
that's kind of the image I see in my head when he's describing this figure, though.
You know what I was seeing? The ghost from Insidious.
That too.
The bride.
They're pretty close.
I mean, the old lady ghost.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a lady, but it's not an old lady. Yeah. It's.
If you put that and the Woman in Black beside each other, they're pretty similar. I never thought of that. Yeah, it's a really fun, super short story. Definitely go check it out for yourself. It might be more fun for you to read on your own as you're kind of just reading in the pace of the story.
Yeah, because in order to accurately capture like the pace that I'm sure the poster meant for it to be read, it's when you're saying it out loud, it kind of takes the breath out of you.
Yeah, it's like you're of course gonna be taking it slightly slow because, like you just said, you got to say it when you're thinking it. It's like he's thinking it because this is in his dream. He's counting the seconds, each second going by. Yeah. That's really scary on its own. Imagine every day knowing you're about to have to go through a rib breaking.
See, like, that is a horrifying thought, but the thing in this creepypasta that I know that will not be on screen because you'll be reading along with us was when he talks about biting into his tongue.
Yeah.
Like, I had a visceral reaction to that.
How he said it went between his teeth. He bit it so hard that's rough. That's some good body horror.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was posted by Hello Help Hello on r/nosleep. It seems like they have a bunch posted, so maybe I'll have to dig into some of their other stuff. So
yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, comment down below your favorite part of the creepypasta, and
let us know what you think it might be about.
Yeah,
I mean, that's always just been my take. This one's surprisingly not that old. Like I said, 3 years.
3 years ain't that
3
long.
years. I remember reading it when it came out, and
that's like peak quarantine.
Yeah.
So just let us know in the comments down below what you think this creepy old lady might be, and also your favorite part of the creepypasta as a whole. If you have any suggestions on creepypastas for us to cover in the future, let us know down below. Like, comment, subscribe.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at the Horror Den channel. We also have a Patreon. We're all three of us, even our editor back here, we're all three. We all three work full-time jobs. All funds are gonna go right back into the channel, just to help support us get better equipment over time and stuff. So any support is greatly appreciated. And here are the names of our patrons.
Yeah.
And if you want your name on that list, you can get it as low as $5 a month.
Yep. And it means everything.
It
Even
does,
$5 means a lot. So if you are feeling generous and want to help out an up-and-coming channel, just keep us in your thoughts. Well, anyway, guys, we have some big videos coming out in the future, more movie reviews, more creepypastas just like this. If you have any creepypastas that you want us to cover in the future, let us know in the comments down below. I don't care, I'm reiterating. Let us know in the comments down below, and we'll get them covered. But in the meantime, just remember, stay spooky out there.